Hello, everybody. I hope some of you have been able to join live. I know, Janet, I saw you online a few moments ago. I hope the signal's good where you are. It's Debs here, Debs DeVries, and I'm talking to you from the wild, wet west of Scotland at the moment. This is where Spirit has me. And I'm enjoying the space and the peace and the groundedness. And perhaps that's why I've been able to reflect on a topic of critical importance. I believe it's critically important to individuals, to communities, and to humanity. And an asset, I suppose you could say, that I've learned to develop for myself that has left me with a sense of calm and certainty in my decision making very often, as opposed to years ago when decisions came from such a different place and gave me such a different result. So this mini masterclass is all about intuition, why we need it, why we've all got it, how we need to develop it, and what to do to a degree. I can share with you some of the things that I've done to develop this natural ability. So let's take it from the top. I'm going to read to you some definitions of intuition. But the best one that I like is the ability to understand something. For me, that's like just a knowing without the need for conscious reasoning. Okay, so it's where we don't have to use reason. We don't have to think. We don't need proof and we don't need evidence. It's a guiding force which is hardwired into every individual. It guides us how to act or to not act. So let's unpick that a little bit. It's a tricky one for the Western mind, the idea of not thinking. And I just want to clear that up by saying it's really difficult not to think. Thoughts come and go, and depending on our fluctuating hormonal state, and I don't mean hormones, girls, it's just on our energetic biochemistry, we will notice thoughts coming and going. So please don't imagine that if you're thinking, you're not in your intuition. You can actually observe your thoughts from a space where your intuition can be active, and that's an important distinction to make. When we're thinking, we're doing some conditional reasoning. If I do this, then that will happen. When I did this before, that happened. Oh, that was good. I'll do it again. That was bad. I won't do it. If I do this, I expect that to happen. If I join this course, then I need this from it, and my bank account will be less than. Now, in all of this kind of thought, and this isn't the kind of what should we have for dinner, when do I need to file my tax return, useful kind of planning, keeping our feet on the ground thought, what the mind is doing is making predictions. It's basing those predictions on what it already believes it has experienced. So when we make a decision from that kind of thinking, we're replaying patterns of the past. And that's important because it's referring to the past. We may, without knowing it, project those feelings into the future and say, well, if I do this, I expect, or I'm pretty sure this will happen. And that is an ego construct. I mean, you can say with certainty, if I get to the airport late, I won't get on my flight, right? It's a bunch of facts that have come together. But when the mind starts to work on what it believes is true, we're in a bit of a pickle because the mind doesn't know, right? The mind doesn't know. And the mind is connected to the solar plexus, and the solar plexus, which is our will center, can get very scared and can feed the ego. The ego wants a number of things, but it wants a kind of monitoring of the stasis, the safety of you. And very often the ego doesn't want growth, right? And it can collude with the body about that and convince you that your thought is right. And this is not what intuition's about. So intuition for me is our ability to read the greater field of energy, not just the one that we've constructed through our ego and our patterning and the way our thoughts tend to run. And we all tend to have the same. If you check in and see what kind of thoughts you have regularly that recur over your lifetime, you'll find there's only a handful and they're a pattern. Very, very useful to know. So let's go back to intuition for a moment. Our ability to read the field of energy around us, a much bigger field than the mind can read. And from that field of energy, sense the best path for us at that moment. Not right, not wrong, not shrouded in what ifs. It's just your ability to read the information in the field and align with what is true for you. Each of us is unique, right? We have a unique thumbprint. We know we have biometrics that are unique. We have a unique retina. We have a unique soul signal. We have a unique path up, you could call it destiny, on the earth plane. And when we're in line with that unique path, my experience of that is it may look crazy to everybody else, but if you feel calm and complete and satisfied most of the time, you're not disturbed, you're not constantly looking left and right for different things until the movement comes again to move. You are being moved and making choices based on intuition. You'll use your mind for the planning bit and all the rest of it, working out the sums, but your intuition is really there to help you shape and guide your life force. So is it a mystery thing that some people have and some people don't have? Well, I don't believe that. I believe that intuition is like it's a sense, and therefore it can be developed. And like all of our senses, it needs a certain environment in which to flourish. Intuition, for me, therefore, is the using of senses that are not connected in the same way that we use logic. I find some information, I figure it out, I make a decision. Intuition, therefore, asks us to surrender our thoughts, and it asks us to prepare the environment that is the body. Your intuition isn't here, it's deep in here, it's hardwired into your system, and your body needs you to practice creating environments in which it can speak to you. Those environments involve your being able to snap out of the system where we're constantly thinking, we're a little bit stressed, we're rushing, we've got the next thing, we've got a list of things to do. The part of the central nervous system that's active all the time, that's sending signals up and down to the brain every 2 seconds, we don't want to be in that space. So if you come at your intuition by like, I need an answer, that's going to shut it down straight away, because it's like saying, imagine your intuition is like a beautiful little baby fawn coming into a clearing in the forest, and it's tentative and it looks out and it needs to relax, it needs to look around, make sure there's nothing coming at it. If you rush in with your big boots on and go, oh, there's the fawn, it'll go. So we have to prepare the ground, and the ground is the body. And the way into the ground is to help certain things become stronger. One of them is the vagus nerve, very, very important, cranial nerve 10. And another of them is the breath. The breath is very important because when you breathe slowly and deeply, you start to switch systems from the sympathetic part of the central nervous system to the parasympathetic. So parasympathetic is where you will feel more peace and natural comfort, irrespective of your surroundings. Because actually we are hardwired really to be in our parasympathetic system much more than we are supposed to be in our stressful, having, listening to our own press all the time. We're supposed to sense the field. So what you need to be doing to develop intuition, I'm going to give you some exercises as well to do, is is to make sure that your chi is running, your prana is running well. So one thing I do is acupressure points on my feet every day. I make sure that I'm outside every day. I make sure that I'm doing deep, slow breathing all the time. And when my breath comes short, I know that I've come out of that system and I get myself back into it. I do vagus nerve release exercises, and I'd be happy to share some of those with you. It's difficult in this particular milieu and not knowing who's watching and what their physical life is like to share those with you. But you can, I have got a yoga video that if anybody wants it, I'm happy to share that. The vagus nerve, I've come to see is incredibly important. The psoas as well, so tightness in and around the hip area, which is the area from mid-thigh to sort of above your hip bone, and the inability to get your hips open can suggest a tightness in the psoas muscle, which again is a conductor of energy between the lower and the upper half of the body. The vagus nerve, the wanderer, is, to me, it's like a snake. It's, you know, a snake doesn't seek trouble, it's sensing. It's sensing the air, it's sensing vibration all the time. And if you come banging along a path, it's going to go because it doesn't want to waste energy. Its intuition, its instinctive reaction is to get out of what's not good for it and go towards what's good for it. And that to me is what intuition is all about. It's what's really wholesome for you, not right, not wrong, not the greatest choice, not the choice. It's just like in this moment, do I breathe out? Do I feel a calmness, a genuine calmness, not a head calmness going, oh, that's right, I've sorted it, an all body sense of calmness and comfort. When I have intuitively moved into a position or made a choice or a decision based on how I feel and stood by it, do I feel I have to defend myself? If I do, I'm probably not choosing from intuition. Do I feel that I have to go back over and check the facts that I've come with and the what ifs? If I get myself back into it, oh, what if I'd done that? I'm probably not into my intuition. So the big picture is your intuition is a bodily experience. It's your body being allowed through sensation to read the field. And I believe that's, you know, it's best with your eyes closed, sitting quietly, hands on belly, soft breaths, watching thoughts coming and going, and just in that moment asking what feels really true for me and waiting. Now, as we develop this instinct, you'll find that it's just happening. You'll walk away from some situations, you'll see a person and you'll think, no, your brain might come in and go, oh, don't be rude, but you know. So, ways I feel my energy for intuition, a big one is the heart. Now, if you're not used to intuitive practices, you can kind of train and wheel yourself in. And one of the ways that you can do that is, let's say you've got a choice to make, decision to make. Well, what you need to do is stand, breathe nice and deep, and close your eyes slightly if it's safe to do so. Soft bend in the knee, everything calming down. Let your thoughts just flop around, but don't watch them, watch your breath. And then put the two choices in your hand and imagine you've just put them in your hand. And wait. And one of them will feel heavier, one hand will go down, one hand will come up. For most of you, relax shoulders, no expectation. It's really important. If you're influencing the outcome by saying, I want it to be this one, well, you've already made your choice. It may not be from intuition, but you've already made your choice. You have to get into neutral, which is why doing vagus nerve relaxation, yoga, tai chi, walking, and deep breathing to help yourself get there is so important. That's a good one to use, weighing. You can use your whole body to douse as a way of feeling that sense of peace and spaciousness you get when you've made a choice based on your intuition. And the way I do that, quite simply, again, stand in a relaxed stance, taking your weight, but not stiff in the knee, not stiff in the shoulders. And then ask yourself a simple question. Is my name Sally? If your name's Sally. And just notice what your body does and which direction it moves in. Now ask yourself the same question, but with an answer you know isn't right. So you could say, is my name Raymond? Now you should notice that your body does something different. It moves in a different way. So it's sensing the field. Your body does it, not the mind. Now, once you've got that clear, oh, this is a yes and that's a no, I do it sometimes for food shopping. Like, is this right for me today? And just let your body move. It might be circular for some people. It might be back and forwards. It might be clockwise. It might be anti-clockwise. So there are a couple of training exercises, partnering your body and getting the mind to sink into the body and let the body do its work, because the body is aligned to the earth in a very particular way, and it knows exactly who you are and what if you the tram lines for you are best because of your unique energy signature. You're not like anybody else. Now, for some of you, you may have practiced with those things. You may occasionally use a pendulum. These are all helpful. They're tools to get into the idea that your body is actually, you might divine things. But what I propose is to start doing that exercise and then also checking with your heart energy. Now, one way to do this is just to tap the thymus, make sure that you're connected properly. Put your hand on your heart and just take a few slow breaths. Nice and relaxed. And it's good to do these exercises when you've got nothing big. You might just be choosing what to have for tea, practice baby steps first. Now, when I do this, I can ask a question and I can feel so. I'm going to ask a question, simple question. Is my name Deborah? Now, that movement is just me letting my body move. I'm going to stop it. What I feel is an outward radiating, if you like, spiraling outwards flow of movement, of energy. And it feels expansive. It feels like a space I can walk into. So if I come back and say, "Is my name Steve?" Nothing. It actually shriveled, went anti-clockwise and almost just stopped. It's like water going down a plug hole. So if you think about the flow of energy, people say go with the flow. That doesn't mean you're passive, right? It doesn't mean you just deal with what comes up and that's going with the flow. When the flow comes to you, you need to determine which way you're going to go with it, which way you're going to direct it as well. So when I feel a flow for me, it's an opening. It's like feeling an expansion I can say yes and breathe into. When I feel a closing down, and no, it's almost like a constriction in my throat. I can't breathe deeply enough because my energy, the field that I'm moving into is too constricted for me. And that's essentially what intuition helps you to locate is, am I taking my energy into a field of energy in which I can expand? Because that's what the universe wants you to do, wants me to do, wants every leaf, every bird, every atom to do, is to keep on with its expansion. So the idea of intuition is to take you into a place where you will receive, if you like, more expansion, more space. And you'll feel that. Some of you in your belly, oh yeah, that feels good. A sigh out. I'm just see what all of these things. So let me just recap. There's a certain ability to understand without the need for conscious reasoning. That's intuition. You have the equipment. Part of the deal is it's understanding when you need proof or when you need conscious reasoning. That might be okay for that situation, but you're not using your intuition. You want something and you're not getting it from the outside. That's not intuition. Intuition is feeling and knowing on the inside that you're okay in the moment. That's good. That feels comfortable. It feels expansive. It may look weird. It may look crazy to everybody else, but your ladder should be against the wall that you're climbing of your life, if you like, not against somebody else's idea of what your life should look like, whether that's society's projected it, family, a partner. you. So without proof or evidence, that's important, because you may be asked to go on a journey, and intuition will always lead you where you're best going to develop, even if sometimes it doesn't feel the way your ego would like it to look. So we need this more than ever because we're on information overload. How do you make a good choice for yourself? It has to be based on knowing what is best for you, right? Not knowing, not even gathering all the facts, because how you could gather all the facts in the world and there'd still be more, whether that's about food or vaccination or relationships or anything. You can get so much information, you will still be jammed up. You'll be still dodging about based on somebody else's platform. Your North Star is unique, and the energy flow that's aligned with that is unique to you. It depends a lot on you giving time to developing the relaxation response, however you do that. The vagus nerve and your breath need to be active and accessible all the time. You need to know, in other words, when you're not in your parasympathetic system, and you need to be able to get there fast, or at least take yourself out of a situation and go and practice being in there. This could be certain types of yoga, qigong. You need to have energy circulating. And another tip is a quick one. If you're in a situation where you find yourself physically in a typical position, seated, standing, face is tense, and you're trying to make a decision, the first thing I'd say is break that state. Wiggle your arms about, laugh, run around, go outside, come back, sit on the bath, sit somewhere you wouldn't normally sit. Break the state, because that actually challenges the body's need to keep you, the body and the ego collude a lot to keep you in stasis, keep you where you are. Break that down, have a laugh, have a giggle. Oh my God, I've got that face on, I've got my decision-making face on, go do something else. And then come back and do your exercises, preferably daily. Do things to release the vagus nerve, do some acupressure points for the kidneys so that make sure you're drinking plenty. I should say that, because you want chi to be active and well in your body. Anything that over gyms your system, like alcohol, too much coffee, too much sugar, they're going to push you back into the central sympathetic. So don't necessarily have a big cup of coffee and get all tense and then try to find your intuition. Environment. Releasing expectations. You need to enter the realm of intuition with curiosity and willingness, and be prepared, which shall I say, pick small things. If you're going to play with some of the intuition, do you remember the balancing scales one, or using your body to divine? Once you get used to the fact your whole body can read this field that you can't, then you can come into the heart. Or you might already just want to go straight into the heart. You might have a strong sense of your own heart energy running. And honestly, the minute you start asking it, I sometimes hold my hand there just to feel the pressure. You feel it move. So intuition is one of your greatest allies. It's a never-ending magical resource. And in a world where you are now being asked to believe a million things, absorb everybody else's idea of how to do stuff, how to live your life, what to eat, what to think, what to wear, what's the next course I should go on, what's the next relationship I should, how do I figure this out? You don't figure it out. It's actually figured out for you, in a sense, because there's a reflection in the field of a path of ease. It may not be primroses, it won't be without its challenges, but a more easeful path, because when you're using intuition to guide you, you're at ease with your choices. You're not ping-ponging backwards and forwards, wondering, did I do the right thing? Did I do the wrong thing? I'm not going to say occasionally you're not going to wonder, how did I end up here? But if you've got that sense of ease, that's because you've clicked into the energy flow that's aligned with your unique energy system and the expansion that's here to experience as a soul in a human body. So that's my take on intuition. I am open for conversations about this because it's a very Lilith topic. you could say Lilith is in some ways the seat of our intuition, and knowing how to feel her, how she will pull you away from situations that your ego might think, oh, that's the right thing to do because it's going to get something for you, or you're going to give something to somebody that they want. Whereas intuition is more about serving the highest good and the whole. And that sometimes means we're not into situations that we would normally choose to be in, and we'll be a little bit uncomfortable because we stopped trading. We're actually using our power to guide us and not somebody else's, or having to, if you like, invest to receive from the physical world. It's a very internal thing. I hope I've described it in some way. I hope my suggestions, remember, you've got a couple of little trainer exercises and then that one, but those come when you've set the environment, right? So go back to the vagus nerve, the psoas to a degree, making sure your prana, your chi is flowing and your breath is nice and deep and slow. Your diet and your sleep and your hydration are adequate, so that these senses can work at their optimal, and let them feed back to you the sense of flow, openness and ease, or constriction and restriction. And that's how you make your choice. Okay, beautiful. I'm going to put this recording up. Thank you for joining this masterclass. At the end of January, February, I will be back. I'm going to have a bit of a retreat myself for a little while, until the Lilith teaching begins in what I call the new year, which is after Imbolc. Those of you who still haven't had a conversation with me about Lilith, let me know. I'll be opening up a few more spots in my diary before I go into my pre-spring retreat. With love and great thanks for your presence. Bye for now and speak soon. Oh, I hate it. I try and look at that and do the end meeting for all. It doesn't always work.